It's time for Cup of Tech Gumbo. Yes, we're welcoming in Haggai Davis. How's it going, man?
Doing great.
Glad to have you on board. Glad to be chatting today. I want to hold TikTok off for a minute to cover this. So we'll get to whether or not TikTok will be banned in just a little bit. Robocalls.
Yes.
Are they finally going away? This time, do they mean it?
Well, if the FCC's finally taken the first step, they've actually put something into action. They've done something. Back over the summer, they had announced there was 8 telecom companies that allowed the 90% of all of the robocalls to go through these 8 little bitty companies.
Okay.
And they put out a notice and said, you better stop or we're going to shut you down. Mm-hmm. And one company, Global UC, said they didn't believe it. They didn't shut it down. And so what the FCC has come in and done is discredited them so that they can no longer send calls on to another telephone company, and the other telephone companies cannot accept calls from Global UC. So if AT&T, ETEL, any one of the, Cox, any one of the phone companies in this area, if a robocall was going through Global UC and they were trying to hand that off to your phone number here in town, mm-hmm. They're not allowed to accept that call coming from Global UC now.
How does that work? How does that work to not accept the call? Is there something that are they able to just unplug a wire that says this is the stuff coming in from Global UC?
Yes, you're just not allowed to accept anything coming. The phone companies all have handoffs, basically, for lack of a better phrase, and not a technical term here, but they have agreements that allow you to transfer your call from one company to the other. And so, if you're if Global UC is in the Dallas area, if you were the phone company, if that was your local phone company, and you I don't know, Plano, Texas, or wherever it is, if they were somebody was there who legitimately is trying to make a phone call to me here in Baton Rouge,
right?
They cannot do that right now using their home phone that's if they're part of this Global UC.
Okay, now I realize I'm showing my age here, but I have this image of Lily Tomlin playing Ernestine, the telephone operator. That's not the way this works. So
no.
What's the likelihood that Global UC finds a way around this?
Very unlikely.
Really?
Because if now, does Global UC clean up their act and say, okay, we get it, and we shut down all these robocalls? Mm-hmm. Maybe the FCC says, okay, everybody, y'all can start accepting phone calls again from Global UC. But as of right now, and this is the type of thing that puts Global UC out of business.
Yes.
I mean, if you cannot transmit calls in and out of your network, then you're done.
How hard is it to become a telecom provider in the U.S.?
I would imagine it's not very easy.
Yeah.
You've got to have some resources, and you've got to have enough equipment that actually switches your calls around.
And what kind of sway does the FCC have to actually shut down a full-on telecom provider? I mean,
they have enough to do it. I mean, that's their job, is to regulate the telecommunication companies.
So at the end of the day, the strong arm of the FCC would be what would keep all the telecom operators from capitulating to Global UC instead of capitulating to them.
Correct. And this was now, does this completely eliminate all of the robocalls? No. There's still some that are still happening, but it's not. If you've noticed in the past week or so that you've gotten fewer calls, this is probably why.
So is a text the same thing?
No.
Yeah.
Not yet, but they're coming after that next. They are trying. The FCC, they are trying to do things instead of just platitudes and say, oh, please stop doing all that. They are trying. Now, yeah, I've been getting and now the elections are over, for some reason, I've been getting text messages from politicians in New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco asking me to go vote for them.
Oh, fantastic.
And who bought that list?
The number of text messages I got to go vote for Devontae Lewis was off the charts.
Yes.
And you know,
I got a bunch of those too. And
like, please remove me from this list. I'm not going to talk about who I voted for. I voted for Boisier. I'm not going to talk about who I voted for. But I was like, I don't want text messages about this. The same way I don't want the mailers, but I can't stop that.
right.
I figured at least I could stop the text messages by asking to unsubscribe. Not the case. Not the case. They just kept on coming through.
Now, as soon as you say unsubscribe or stop, that just means, oh, look, this is a real number.
Right. Right.
We got
Not only are we going to ramp up what we send you, but we're going to send your number to other people to let them know it's good.
Yep.
So, all right, TikTok. We're going to start it here. We're going to have to break in the middle of the conversation. Lawmakers introduce a bill to ban TikTok in the U.S. TikTok poses a national security threat, according to lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle. Before I dive into the meat and potatoes of this article, how is it a national security threat for me to do a 15-second dance or give my breakdown of a movie or talk about my favorite honey bun? Why is that a national security threat?
Because this information goes straight to the Chinese government.
So the Chinese government can know that I like the Little Debbie Christmas tree snack cake better than I like the regular Little Debbie's
that's
zebra
the
cakes.
fascinating thing about this is because if you don't watch those videos on TikTok, well, you can certainly watch them on Instagram or on Facebook Reels or anywhere else.
Crazily, it's not the same. It's insane, but it's not the same. I don't know how to explain it
because
yet.
TikTok has better algorithms to show you the things that you want to see.
There is that for sure. There's also TikTok has it first. My Facebook or Instagram Reels, I will see things that I saw on TikTok a month ago.
Absolutely. And we've done stories in the past about these influencers. They will put things on TikTok and get 1 million views. They will put it on Instagram and get, 750,000 views. And then they'll put it on Twitter and get 50,000 views.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, okay, we're going to get into more of the why is it a national security threat when Chuck P breaks down a hazy IPA. We'll get into that on the back end of the break. We're coming up on a break right here. I also want to talk about, and Haggai Davis is with us for a cup of tech gumbo. I also want to talk about how do you implement this ban? Who enforces it? We'll get into that a little bit next as well. Right now, we are coming up on a break. So we'll take that break here. Taylor's going to have traffic for you. The latest on the, one person was shot dead on I-110 early this morning. He'll have that, and then we'll have Your Money Now, and then right back at it with a cup of tech gumbo on Talk 107.3. I think the interstate's already clear. This happened really, really early this morning. It'll be in top stories and trending.
Is it like a police or two people?
I think it was 2 people. Let me get that Ronald Green story off
My favorite thing about this TikTok is the name of the bills that they filed. Averting the national threat of intelligent internet surveillance, oppressive censorship, and influence, and algorithm learning by the Chinese Communist Party, or antisocial CCP. Really? Who comes up with these names? Is that somebody's job just to sit there and look up?
So this, I get, and we were supposed to have Cassidy on today. He's postponed until next week. Bill Cassidy's office is the best in the world. The best in the world with the acronyms. Anytime you see a story from Bill Cassidy about a bill they're proposing or sponsoring or whatever, it's always going to have a fantastic acronym.
Nice.
Yeah. He can come out with an acronym that would about just 4 letters, 18 letters, 6 words, whatever. And it doesn't matter. It's always going to be on point. Brian, that's why we're talking about the Pooper Scooper app. Like, it just...
The poopers. My favorite one was Mayhem.
That was a good one.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Something about little people. No, it was like kids.
No, you're right. I'm not remembering what
formula,
specifically.
Like the formula shortage or something?
Yes.
Because that one was good. I don't even
Here, I got one right here. You ready? U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy today released a statement following Senate passage of several key Louisiana priorities worked to include in the National Defense Authorization Act. Provisions Cassidy worked to secure include the vast majority of his SHORE Act, the SHORRE. What does SHORE stand for? Well, Shoreline Health Oversight, Restoration, Resilience, and Enhancement Act.
Nice.
The SHORE Act.
Do you want to do something for 30 seconds?
Game 2 of 3 games of Baton Rouge's audition for hockey was last night. We got one more to go, and Talk 1073 FM is your home for tickets. Visit talk1073.com to get your tickets today. Click on the flipper where you see the hockey. Raising Cane's River Center, 3 games worth of hockey going on. The next game is going to be on January 2nd. So after LSU plays at noon, go out and see hockey that night. Get your tickets at talk1073.com. Because it's never going to be. It's just never going to be right. I'm convinced of that. I break exactly on time.
There's like a bunch of expired stuff.
It's all good.
So I don't know if it's like, but I'm gonna have to do traffic coming back. So in Texas, they already banned it on state-issued devices.
That's a whole other thing. If you have to have a Obama phone, a government issued cell phone, should you even have apps?
Yeah, because that's like a. I think it's like for schools. You know how like
Official?
schools,
No, if you're an official state phone, if you have, if you're the Texas government employee,
Yeah.
I'm okay if you don't want TikTok on that phone. Okay, great, but you damn well better not have Facebook either, or any of the other social media on that phone. If you're going to ban social,
Right.
But don't just ban TikTok to single it out.
Right. Right. Because Mark Zuckerberg's political agenda is totally in line with what I'd like to see America look like.
I mean, we're on Facebook Live,
Right.
so
Oh, did I just get us muted by saying Zuckerberg?
maybe
Don't say his name into a mirror 3 times. He will appear.
because a like super just pale person.
Yep.
As opposed to Voldemort, who we stopped talking about Musk because it's boring.
So Musk is very quickly becoming the new boogeyman. He's the new worst thing ever every day.
Yeah,
He's not doing anything.
He banned 4 people or suspended 4 accounts yesterday.
they wrote articles about the kid who had the tracking app.
Right, but they included within those articles a way to follow that tracking app, and that tracking app is doxing. So I don't wholly disagree with Musk on this one.
Oh, I mean, okay, but
I don't disagree with anything Elon Musk is doing.
the problem. I mean, if it was illegally putting together the information, because I mean, he's got this kid he tracks, and we talked about it on the show. On this, he tracks Putin's plane. He tracks Air Force One. He tracks all kinds of people's planes. There's
amazing.
30-something accounts that he tracks.
Okay, Air Force One is publicly owned. There's some level of argument that you should know where Air Force One is at all times. A privately owned plane by a private citizen, I should not have that access.
That's just FAA. I mean, that they you can.
Oh yeah,
file
FlightAware. There's FlightAware, but you have to track numbers. You don't just say Elon Musk just landed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He'll be coming out of the terminal in about 20 minutes.
No, you don't know that. You know when his plane is midway between Dallas and.
Hang on.
Yeah.
653, Talk 1073 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Cup of Tech Gumbo rolling right along. The conversation during the break went down a completely different topic that I don't know if we're going to have to revisit at some point.
Yeah, at some
All right,
point.
so back to TikTok.
Yes.
Lawmakers banning TikTok because reviews of different pasta dishes are a matter of national security. The problem I'm having is twofold, Haggai. Number one, and I think the second part of my problem you agree with. But number one, this is inane garbage. It's escapism. TikTok is useful in terms of relaxation and watching junk. I don't know how that is a national threat, and I don't know how China can't. What are they garnering from this in real terms?
They're building the profiles on you. It's no different than Google or Facebook or Twitter or anybody
Why not
else.
shut it all down? Because there's nothing they can't get from Google, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else as well.
Well, because we don't want a Chinese communist government to have that information about us, but we're okay with private or publicly traded companies in the U.S. to have that information.
But that information can just as easily get back to China once it's out there.
I understand, but this is the rationale. We're scared to death of the Chinese government knowing that people step on rakes and get smacked in the face on TikTok.
Exactly.
And oh, well, we're building these profiles because people are stupid and they want to see something ridiculous like that. Okay, great. Well, it's the same information that Google and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the other social media platforms, they're all building the same profiles. But this is going to the Chinese Communist government, not going to,
Communist
Silicon
Chinese
Valley.
government gets this profile on me. What do they do with it that's going to be a threat to me?
They're going to launch missiles at you.
All right. Exactly.
I don't know.
Because I want to watch Joe Rogan talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson and watch it as if Joe Rogan understands a word coming out of that man's mouth. Like, that, to me, it's fine. Build a profile. I like to veg out in front of my phone for a little bit and watch just stupid stuff.
And that's the part that, I'm not on TikTok. I don't watch the TikTok videos, but I don't care to either.
Well, you better look out because I'm putting us all in peril, Haggai.
I understand.
You're in danger more and more every day because
the closer,
I watch
I am
15
sitting,
seconds of Theo Vaughn.
I'm 4 feet away from you, and I'm nervous right now.
You should be.
I mean, you're a TikToker, and my God, what the Chinese Communist government's going to do with that information about now that I may be associated with you, it's silly to me, but we are just all up in arms. Senator, and this is both the political right and the political left.
It's Friday morning right now. 3 days. I'm telling you right now, 3 days from now, I'm going to watch Devin Snow eat a plate of red beans.
Okay.
Greatest tradition in the world. He goes to a different place in New Orleans every single Monday and tries their red beans and reviews them on TikTok. Oh. And that is a matter of national. It's funny though. He's entertaining.
Okay,
he's entertaining. I know you wouldn't expect it to be good. He's going to open up at the go plate. He's going to go look at this.
It's content. I mean, I get it. But yeah. So Senator Rubio filed the Averting the National Threat of Internet Surveillance, Oppressive Censorship, and Influence and Algorithmic Learning by the Chinese Communist Party, or the Anti-Social CCP Act.
All right, so 2 more questions on this, and the next one is about actual enforcement. How would the U.S. enforce a ban here?
Oh, that's the easy part. I mean, you shut off access to TikTok in the United States. I mean, you just geofence it out. And a couple of years back, former President Trump had a good idea. Let's get a U.S. company, and Oracle they bought the rights and had all of the U.S. TikTok activity happening on their servers, except the information goes straight back to China. And so that's the big upsetting. If they just created a whole separate company and cut off that access to China, TikTok would be fine. Everybody would just cruise right along. But I'm don't understand it. I don't understand why everyone is so worked up about why it's okay for Google to have as much information as they do and not the Chinese government.
Right, because we give it to them voluntarily. And whether we're giving it to Silicon Valley voluntarily, Washington, D.C. voluntarily, Quantico voluntarily, or Beijing voluntarily, it's us handing the information off. And once you start that slippery slope of we're shutting down media outlets, social media outlets, where do you stop?
Well, there was one other story we did talk about, and it was the fact that 96% of the apps that kids are being told they have to use for school, that data is being tracked and sold to Google.
Yeah.
And that's illegal.
Right.
If you're under 13, you're not allowed to track these kids. But if you're an 8-year-old kid who's got an app to do homework on, and Google's building that profile, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is. What else is coming up on the show this week?
We're going to do a big dive into sports betting and the problems with it, where it's good in some states and not in others, where some states only get 1% of their revenue, others get 50% of their revenue, and how it all came to be and things like that. It's going to be a fun show.
Excellent. You can catch it Saturday and Sunday at 4 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcast. Haggai Davis joins us every Friday. Appreciate you, man.
You bet.
Absolutely. Here comes CBS World News Roundup on Talk 107.3. All right.
The state of Kansas, they got screwed.
Did they?
They get 1%. $300 million in betting. In
Why did they
Kansas?
vote that into law?
Because they were sold a bill of goods. Whereas Louisiana only gets 10%. But
How much should they get?
Well, the state of New York gets 50%.
Yeah.
And they're
Louisiana gets how much?
10%.
Why did I just say Louisiana like that? I said
So,
Louisiana?
back to the Elon Musk's airplane.
Yes.
When you track tail numbers on an airplane, that's one thing. Flight aware is one thing. I get that, okay? But posting up Elon Musk's location is going to lead to, and not just Elon Musk, but
And I don't have a problem with if you sit there. Oh yeah, anybody's he's got 30-something accounts that this kid does this to.
right.
And so,
Yeah, we're just on Facebook.
6 fights.
6 fights?
Hockey game?
5 good ones.
Dang.
And the score was 10-5.
10 to 5. Holy crap. Okay. Which means it counted. Yeah. 65.89. So we've been above 6,000 both times. And the next one's going to be over a holiday where people don't have to go to school the next day. Citrus Bowl's done by 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to school on the 3rd.
Wait, they go back. Oh, EBR goes back on the 3rd, not
Yeah.
the 4th?
The 3rd.
Okay. I thought we all went on the 4th. All right. Well, doesn't matter at this point. We've covered the number. Yeah. 6,500.
Cool.
It's awesome. Thanks, Scott. Did you ever watch The Newsroom on HBO? Jeff Daniels played.
Yes.
Okay. You remember Olivia Munn's character, Sloane Sabbath? Anyway, they did a story about it was a new app called ACN Engage, and basically it was tracking people, celebrities in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I hear about the Elon Musk story, I can't help but think of that story. What is the benefit of knowing where Kylie Jenner's plane is at any given time?
There is none.
Okay. What is the detriment of knowing where Kylie Jenner's plane is at any time?
There's a lot.
Right.
The fact that, oh, look, the flight plans have been filed, and Elon is leaving San Francisco, flying to Austin, Texas. He'll be landing in Austin at 3:45 this afternoon.
And is there a greater chance or a lesser chance that a sociopath is waiting for him at the gate because of this access, because of this level of information? He doesn't even have to do his homework. It's handed to him.
There's nothing good that...
Then why would we vilify the man who wants to shut down the doxing on this?
Because he's out there, he's Voldemort now. I mean, it's just, he's the worst thing. The liberal left, they loved him and then all of a sudden now they don't.
Just like Donald Trump.
Uh-huh.
Loved him until he's a convenient boogeyman.
And so now everybody's going to go pound on Musk because he bought this company and he's making it do things that he wants to do because it's his company.
Right.
He can do that.
And not to mention, and we want to treat it or hold him to a standard as if it's the government, as if it's free speech somehow, but it's not. It's a privately owned company. So
the problem he runs into is when he opens his mouth and says it's the town hall. There's free, we don't want we want everyone to be able to have free speech on Twitter, except when he doesn't want you to have free speech on Twitter, and then he takes you down.
yeah,
Well, then wait, you just said it was.
well, he bought it because of that, and then shifted it once he was in the seat. But I would argue that what he is shutting down leads to more danger than what was being shut down before.
On something like that, yes.
Shutting down kids on Trump's flights is more dangerous than shutting down the president of the United States.
Damn, good point. Good point. But what was the president of the United States saying that needed to be shut down? What was
Exactly.
potentially triggering action? Now, you can point back to January 6th, and that's fair. But I don't know. And I'm okay. Let's get a look at that forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jacelyn Wheat. I don't know. We're going to run afoul of Elon Musk a lot because he's going to be the point of every story. He's going to be the subject of every story out there because conveniently he's the next target.
And that's why we've taken, like, we took a 3-week ban on talking about Elon Musk.
Good.
Then we did last weekend, and now we're going to go another. We probably won't talk about him till sometime in the middle of January, just because you got to take a break. I mean, everybody in the world is out there pounding on him. I don't want to be that.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's like every breath he takes is going to be the focus of, oh, look at my new cover photo. Capybaras. I love those things. They're like somewhere between a horse and a nutria.